students. So we're going to continue with the chapter, the River Valley Civilization. The last time we discussed about the meaning, definition and explanation on River Valley Civilization, and we understood why it is important for us to learn about civilization or River Valley Civilization. We learned about the different reasons why all this civilization took place near River Valley or at the bank of river. Today we're going to learn about Indus Valley Civilization. Alright. Now, out of all the 4 civilizations that we're going to learn, the most important was Indus Valley Civilization. Alright. Now, why it is important? Let us see. Indus Valley Civilization came about in light during the 20th century. Alright. So there were a lot of ruins that were not discovered. Now ruins are basically the remains of destroyed places which were destroyed, which were not discovered. So Harappa and Mohenjo-daro were 2 such places or 2 such cities which were discovered. In 1922, Mr. Dayaram Sahani discovered the ruins of Harappa in West Punjab. And then later on, Mr. Banerjee found Mohenjo-daro at Sindh. Now these places were completely destroyed, which were not known to anybody before 1922. It's only when these 2 people discovered these ruins, that's when it came to light. Now what is important for us to know is why it was called as the Harappan civilization. Why this Indus Valley civilization got its name as Harappan civilization. Okay. Since the city of Harappa was the first site to be excavated, the civilization was known as Harappan civilization. Now there was no place that was discovered before the city of Harappa was discovered. Now what is important for us to know is why Indus Valley civilization came to be known as the Harappan civilization. It is because Harappa was the first place that was discovered in 1922. The civilization started with, the Indus Valley civilization started with discovery of Harappan ruins. Therefore, it was called as the Harappan civilization. And why the term Indus Valley is because the entire civilization took place near river Indus. Hence, it was termed as Indus Valley civilization. This proved beyond doubt that a highly advanced urban civilization flourished in India about 5,000 years ago. So this proves that around 5,000 years ago, a very highly important and highly considered civilization took place. It was said that Indus Valley civilization was confined to few places, that it could not grow. However, there was a change that was since 1921. In 1921 and after that, more than 250 sites have been discovered. And therefore, Indus Valley civilization was considered to be one of the largest civilizations of the ancient world, because it discovered more than 250 sites wherein it was believed that it was constrained, it could not grow. So there are some main features of Indus Valley civilization. The first one being town planning. So what they did was, they divided the land in 2 parts. The first one, which was on a raised level, on a higher level, which was termed as citadel, which was called as citadel. And the one that was on a lower level was called as lower town. Now, each town or each part was surrounded by bricks, burnt bricks. There were main streets that passed or went across the town, which were straight and very wide. Now to pave these streets, they used fire burnt bricks. Alright? They had different shapes of house, different kinds of house that they lived in, but mostly they were of 2 stories. Now the reason why they had of 2 stories is because there were recurring floods. If you remember in the previous video, we spoke about how the soil was fertile because of recurring floods. But it also had its effect on the houses. Therefore, they had 2-story houses. Also, the house had wells and bathrooms. Each house had a well and bathroom. They had fewer windows and many doors. Their houses did not have much of windows as much as they had doors. They were also very large buildings. So they built large buildings which were used as palaces or assembly hall. So these huge buildings were used as palaces or assembly hall, where they used to have their meetings, where they would have their small gathering. About Mohenjo-daro was the great bath of Mohenjo-daro. Now this was like a quadrangle which was having walls on all 4 sides. It also had rooms where people could change, and there was a pool in between where people would come and have bath. Now one of the main and most important feature of the Indus Valley civilization, the Harappan and the Mohenjo-daro civilization, was their drainage system. Now they had a main drainage system made of bricks that was connected to the drainage system of each house. It was covered so that no foul smell could come out, and it had a manhole. A manhole was a big hole as big as a man could enter, and it was used for cleaning purpose. Now this excellent system proves beyond any doubt that the people of this civilization gave a lot of importance to sanitation and cleanliness. Now, just like we have social life, people of Mohenjo-daro or Harappan civilization also had their social life. They ate vegetables, cereals, just like everyone does, just like we do. The ones that they grew or they imported. They also had fish and mutton. Now, their dressing style was quite similar between men and women. The men would take a shawl on his shoulder that went around under his arms, and the woman would drape a shawl kind of thing, a cloth, around her body till her waist. The men would wear dhoti. Women used a cloth beyond as a waist by a girdle, like a belt. The attire was almost similar between the men and women. They mostly used cotton fabric, and it was said that the kind of material that they used, the cotton, was of very good quality, and it is evident with all the spinning wheels that they found of that time. Now, they wore a lot of ornaments. Now, during that time, gold was not very common, and therefore people used ornaments mostly made of silver. The men as well as the women would wear different ornaments like rings, anklets, necklaces that were common between the men and women. The Harappans probably got gold from Karnataka or other place, and precious stones from Gujarat and Iran. Another important material that they used to make ornaments was faience, which is more of ceramic in nature, like beads that they use to make bangles, to make rings, earrings, and they also had different types of toys that were made of different materials. Children played with different types of toys like wheel carts, whistles, figures of birds, and animals made of clay. Another important feature of the Indus Valley civilization is their economic life. The most important and accepted occupation during that time was agriculture. It is because of fertile land. It was more convenient for people to engage themselves in agriculture than any other occupation. Also, they practiced rearing of animals. The Harappans grew wheat, barley, rice, pulses, sesame, mustard, lentils and peas. These were the quite commonly grown cereals or crops during that time. The plough was used for the first time to turn the soil. So before that, there was no concept of having plough or something like that. So they used it first just to turn the soil. They were also the first ones to grow cotton. So they grew cotton. Probably stored water to use for agriculture, for irrigation, so that they don't have to go and hunt of water, because there was a lot of scarcity of rain. Like I said before, it is proof that they used very good material, fabrics, and that was proven through the kind of the spindles that were found during that age. Animals like ox, buffalo, sheep, goat were domesticated by Harappans. Cow was considered one of the important animal and useful animal. They even caught fish and wild animals like the antelope. So they would go on hunting and they would catch fish or animals like antelope. Other important occupations during Harappan age that people engaged into were pottery, that is making of pot, steel making and trading. So like if you remember in the previous video, I had said that besides agriculture, people engage themselves in non-agricultural activities like building of being at huge construction site, building of huge buildings, and then engaging themselves in making metals. So it was another occupation that people accepted. The ones who could not engage themselves into agriculture, they practiced this kind of occupations like making pots, pottery. They also made metals. They also did trading. They did import and export of goods. Although they used many tools and implements of stone, they were well acquired with manufacture and use of bronze. Like if you remember, in the previous video I had mentioned that the civilization, age of civilization, was also called as Bronze Age. Bronze was considered as a very important metal as it was an ally of copper and tin. The Harappans had commercial relations with the southern and the eastern India and also Mesopotamian, Persian, Afghanistan and other countries of Asia. They chiefly exported cotton. The most important crop that they exported was cotton because it was grown on a large scale. Now the next important feature was art and craft. Now bronze figure of dancing doll was commonly seen during this age. So they would make a dancing doll of bronze which did not have feet. So the feet were missing. They also had a bearded nobleman or a priest wearing a shawl. And these were the commonly found artifacts during that age. Seals also had an important role to play during the Harappan or the Mohenjo-daro civilization. Seals are basically stamps. Stamps of different shape, different size, of different pattern, which had a lot of value. They were made of terracotta. The most interesting seal is that of Pashupati. Pashupati was a kind of god that they worshipped. Okay, so the seals were of Pashupati, a person appearing like Lord Shiva, is seated in a yogic posture. The deity is surrounded by animals. So it looked like Lord Shiva sitting in a yogic posture surrounded by animals. Seals also had figures of different animals like goat, bull, unicorn bull, which is a mythological animal, tiger, and elephant. Now there were two basic reasons why these seals were given so much of importance. The first reason is it threw light upon the religious beliefs of people. It kind of projected the beliefs that people had, the religious beliefs that people had during that age. The second reason is from these figures on the seal, they came to know about the features, the clothes, the jewelries, the ornaments of people who wore during that age. Seals were probably used to stamp on bags which contained goods that were to be exported or that was used for trading. It was used as a seal, a stamp which was on the bags that were to be traded from one place to the other. Now another important feature is religion. During that age, during the 20th century, during the age of Mohenjo-daro and Harappan civilization, there were no temples, no shrines, and therefore people did not have a fixed figure as such whom they worshipped. But many clay figures of Mother Goddess have been found during that age. So there were no temples or shrines that were discovered during the age of Harappan civilization or Mohenjo-daro civilization. So there were no fixed temples where they went and worshipped. Rather, they had discovered many small figures made of clay of Mother Goddess that they worshipped. Pashupati was one of the principal deities of the Harappan civilization, or the people of Harappan civilization believed in. Harappans also worshipped trees and animals. In the previous few points, it was said that they gave a lot of importance to cow. So cow was also one of the animals that they worshipped. The another important feature is the art of writing. Harappans had developed art of writing, but their script was not of particular language as the way we write or we read. Rather, they were of figures, a design or a diagram. Alright? So they were pictorial, more of picture. Nearly 400 signs of their scripts have already been found. The signs probably represented a word, object or idea, though attempts have been made to understand what exactly they were trying to convey through those pictures, but they have not been successful so far. So these were the features, main features of Harappan civilization and Mohenjo-daro civilization. But as and when the time passed, they saw a decline in Harappan civilization. In and around 1750 BC, that two important cities of the Harappan culture, that is Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, disappeared. No one knew where and how, but there were some beliefs that came across for the disappearance of these two cities. One was earthquake. People believed that due to sudden earthquake, the two cities disappeared. Some believed that due to recurrent floods, it affected these two cities and that's how they got destroyed. Changed course of the river. Some believe that due to the river, the changed course of the river, these two cities had got submerged and disappeared. So students, I hope you have understood the topic, the Indus Valley civilization and its main features. In the next video, we shall discuss about the other civilizations. Thank you.